Well, after the material's here, it's sawn into dimensional lumber or timber, and the truck pulls up. We take it off the truck, and the guys out there put it on sticks.
Well, so we get semi-loads of lumber in, we'll unload the lumber, store it under our shed here, and then as we work through it, we'll bring it in here to our cantilevers. That's where we stick the lumber. We put it on air drying sticks.
They put drying sticks in between each layer, and when they have a pack up there already stuck and ready to go, it goes out into the open air dry shed.
And it'll leave the warehouse here, come back on the yard right here to be air dried. We like to get it down to 20% or less through the air drying process. Alleviates a lot of defects that can happen in the kiln.
It sits on sticks, depending on species, anywhere from a month to a year, depending on species.
Then we charge it in our iDry vacuum kiln. Give it a week to 2 weeks, usually, depending on thickness. And it's going to come out, and we're going to carry it up the hill to the mill, and it gets turned into a fine piece of molding or furniture or what have you.
After it comes out of there, it goes into the grading process. After it's graded and packaged, it comes up into the dry shed, and it's used for our material that we pull from.
So we use a vacuum kiln because of the speed by which I can dry green lumber. I can take it right off the sawmill if need be and put it in the kiln and get it dried.
Well, I have people come in all the time. They say, well, this has been air dried for 10 years. It should be okay. And it is usable material, but you still have problems with cracking and splitting because of core moisture that hasn't been expelled in the lumber.
Well, one, you're killing any mold or insects that may, have attached themselves to the lumber. That alleviates that as a problem.
Kiln drying will keep your material from molding, and because of the heat, it kills any infestation that's in the material. In case, just say there are some bugs that get into it, some powder post beetles often bore into wood and you don't know it's there. This kills any infestations in the material.
Yeah, so a typical dehumidification kiln uses heat and fans to pull moisture off of lumber. In a vacuum kiln, you're using a vacuum that's actually forcefully pulling the moisture out of the lumber as the heat expands the lumber itself. It literally pulls the moisture out. That's why you're not waiting on diffusion like you are in a conventional kiln.
Material has core trapped moisture that always needs to be gotten out of there. And by using a vacuum kiln, this kiln doesn't case harden the wood, which means dries on the outside and keeps moisture trapped in the center. That's a case hardening. If we can eliminate that through our vacuum drying process, the lumber relaxes so you don't have stress on the material. The lumber is then, when we rip and straight line rip this lumber, we don't get pinching and splitting as we rip our material because of our vacuum drying process.
From green, we can usually dry it within a week to 2 weeks, depending on the species. Our charge is 2,000 feet of stickered lumber. Well, then we take it off of sticks. It goes up the hill into the dry kiln warehouse and waits to be processed.